There are so many different ways to buy a car, and some of those ways will absolutely drain your bank account for no reason at all. Today, we're going over every single way to actually buy a car so you can finally score a good deal. Let's start with the most obvious one, the new dealership. Everyone watching has definitely driven past one of those massive parking lots packed with a bunch of brand new shiny cars. It looks so easy and so tempting, but trust me, dude, you're probably gonna want to steer clear. Let's say you just walk in looking for a base model Subaru Outback just as a daily driver. You'll be able to peacefully look around for a few minutes. But then the most friendly person you will ever meet walks over to you. This is a car salesman, one of the most dangerous people at any dealership. The dude's name is most likely Mike. He has super white teeth, slick back hair, and a way of talking about cars that just makes you want to spend money. He'll tell you a bit about the Subaru Outback that you're looking at, but Mike knows that you truly want to get an $80,000 Trackhawk instead. He brings you over to the Trackhawk, showing off the Brembo brakes, telling you all about that supercharged V8, and you're basically sold. This is how people get stuck with cars that they definitely don't need. These salesmen know exactly what they're doing. When Mike brings you to his office to do some paperwork, what it really means is he's about to tank your credit score and put you into generational debt over a Trackhawk. Even though you can't buy the Trackhawk in cash, Mike is willing to put your 150 credit score to use. He cut you an awesome deal, so you only have to pay $500 a month for the rest of your life. While making this deal felt a little bit wrong at first, actually driving the Trackhawk made it all worth it. It's such a fun car for about a week. That V8 sounds really cool, but you can't bear hearing the drone for more than 20 minutes at a time. The size of the car is super comfortable, but getting 5 miles to the gallon just does not feel worth it. You bring the car back to the dealership to return it, and they're totally fine with that. You return the car, and they give you $20,000 in cash. Where in the world did the other 60 grand go? It turns out the moment your tires hit the public road, the car depreciated to the price of that Subaru Outback that you were looking at before. It's literally insane how steep the depreciation curve is. I feel like buying a car brand new only makes sense if you have like $1 million in cash minimum. If it were me, I'd much prefer driving a new, slightly used car to avoid the insane depreciation. Now that you've lost all this money, it's time to go check out something that fits with your tax bracket at the used dealership. The used dealership has a much different atmosphere than the last one. This place is a lot more laid back. The cars are all on a super dusty gravel parking lot. There's a huge inflatable tube man who's half broken and a super loud neon sign that says "Bad credit, no problem." Listen to me carefully. If Mike was a corporate shark, the sales dudes at this used dealership are demons. These cars look a lot less shiny. They're pretty beat up. They're all different brands and all different conditions, but there still seems to be a few good options for you. This is when the salesman walks out, Mark. Mark is a lot less put together than Mike, and he's a lot more happy to see you. You look around at some of the cars you can get for $20,000, and there are actually some decent daily drivers. You're still paying off that $60,000 loan from the other dealership, so something like a Honda Accord V6 will have to do for now. For some reason, this V6 Accord with 300,000 miles and a rebuilt title is being sold by Mark for around $10,000. To you, that seems like a reasonable price at first until you look up the Kelley Blue Book estimate. This shit is a complete scam. I feel like used dealerships can be really hit or miss. Sometimes you can find awesome deals, but a lot of the time it's just a more expensive and slightly more trustworthy Facebook marketplace. Which brings us to one of the most chaotic places on the entire internet. Facebook Marketplace is like the trenches.
Dude, oh no. I feel like Facebook Marketplace might be the last place you go to get a car, bro. Don't even get me started, man. Oh no, please don't.
Car purchasing. Marketplace is like a used dealership with street.
Bro, I'm sorry. Like real quick, like my friend bought a car from Facebook Marketplace, and he was like, oh, like you want to check it out? Like I'm so happy. He was so happy, right? So I was like, okay, like I got into his car, and I was like, oh my god, like the sun is like blaring out my face. Like let me put down the little the like sun blocker thing, you know, the thing on the top. I forgot what it's called. And I pulled it down, and I was like, maybe I'll check my makeup. And I opened the mirror thing, and there's like a picture of like some like random lady, like there's just like a random photo of some lady. I'm like, oh, do you know this person? Like, is this your girlfriend or like what's this? He's like, what? And he like looks over. He's like, oh, yeah, I don't know who that is, bro. Like, what are they? They got like some random like what? Like they don't even. I don't know. They're not even taking care of the cars, or I guess that maybe. But like, there was no mirror there. The mirror was like ripped out, and instead it was like a picture of like some lady in there. I don't know if he could remove it or not. To, like,
and there's like a 50% chance you're gonna get robbed behind a Wendy's. But the law of equivalence is real. There are some of the most insane deals on this app. First, you need to know what to look for. If the seller is weird, then you have to give up on that car immediately. You're gonna run into 5 distinct types of people here. There's the grandparents, the fake grandparents, the high ballers, the low ballers, and finally the not so high credit score individuals. The grandparents are who you want to buy from most of the time, but never the people you want to sell to. Grandparents are usually completely out of touch with how much things cost these days. Back in their day, they could buy a beautiful chalet for 11 blueberries and a handshake. So the car that they're selling is most likely priced reasonably. The next best thing about buying cars from grandparents is that this thing has hardly been driven. The only miles on the car are probably to the library and back. The thing with grandparents is they most likely don't have a really cool car, right? Well, maybe they just don't know it. The Volvo V70R, for example, is the perfect Facebook Marketplace grandparent purchase. This car looks like a boring station wagon, and the grandparent owner probably thinks it's pretty boring too. They just don't know what kind of power that turbo inline 5 can make. You can find some of the cleanest low-mile Volvos for really good prices because of old people that just don't know what they have. The fake grandparents are what make things complicated though. You will most likely find fake grandparents on listings for unreliable cars. I've seen so many BMW 335i listings talking about grandma driven and grandma owned, garage kept, and a whole lot of other bullshit. Bro. Like, dude, I can literally see that the front end of the car is destroyed. The turbos are on fire. There is no way I'm gonna spend 12 grand on a blown up BMW 335i just because a grandma supposedly drove it. There is no way an actual grandma writes never redlined in their listing. Do grandparents even know what redlining a car is? I know there's a lot of car enthusiast grandparents, but whenever I read a listing like that, I just picture a 19-year-old street takeover member typing it out. Highballers are a lot like fake grandparents, except a lot less smart. Highballers will confidently list a broken down rolling shell Honda Civic for like $15,000, talking about
it ran when I parked it. The AC just needs a recharge. The knocking sound is just a loose plastic cover.
And a whole lot of other bullshit. It pisses me off when people try to scam you like this, but sometimes highballers just genuinely don't know about depreciation. The prices of some of those base model Mercedes listings is absurd. Dudes will actually list their 2014 C-Class for $45,000. Like, dude, this thing is completely stock besides the AutoZone interior. The description's something like,
no low balls, I know what I have. This is my beautiful C250, basically an AMG, with 170,000 miles.
Like, dude, just get off of Marketplace. I feel like actual expensive cars are usually listed for a reasonable price, but it's those high mile base models that really screw with the Facebook economy. Why can't we go back to having $1,500 shit boxes all over Marketplace?
Crazy RPM.
A lot of people want to go back to this, which is what makes it difficult to sell stuff on Marketplace. Low ballers will absolutely ruin your confidence when you're trying to sell something. Even if you list your car for the low end of the Kelly Blue Book suggestion, best believe you're gonna have someone ask if you'd give it to them for free. The last time I tried listing a car for the reasonable price of $4,500, I had people asking me if I'd take $1,500 and an Arby's meat mountain. No, I'm not taking $3 grand off the price of my car, and there's no way I'm eating that shit. This is a whole other discussion, but how the fuck is Arby's still open? Anyway, low ballers are annoying, and they can be pretty smart. They sometimes work together to gaslight the seller. It works like this. Some low-life low baller sees a car they want for like $7,500. They'll have their friend text the seller and ask if they take $5 grand. Then they have their other friend text the seller to offer them $4,500. This is when the low baller themselves swoops in and offers $6 grand. The seller now thinks that their car is a piece of shit, and they end up taking a $1,500 loss on it because they got tricked into thinking the car is trash. Marketplace is not for the weak, because on top of all these people, you will most likely encounter a not so high credit score individual. These listings are the most tempting of them all, but also the most dangerous of them all. There are mixed experiences when it comes to listings. listings like these
Why?
because sometimes you'll walk away with the deal of your life, and sometimes you'll walk away without your wallet. Have you ever seen those $300 listings for a Hellcat? Those are what I'm talking about. The listing most likely says something like,
If you know, don't ask for title.
there are two things you could do after reading this. You could either scroll past the listing, or you could try to get that $300 Hellcat. If you chose to go with the Hellcat, here are some likely outcomes. You text them about the listing, they plan on meeting you later that day, but first they want you to send them $50 as a holding fee. Losing $50 is one of the best outcomes. But you might also show up with cash in hand, and then it immediately gets taken out of your hand. Losing $300 also sucks, but it's still not the worst outcome. Let's say somehow you manage to secure the Hellcat for $300, and they give you a piece of paper that looks somewhat like a title. So after you get the Hellcat, you're gonna end up looking like a fool at the DMV when you say you bought the car for $300. That is, if you even make it to the DMV without getting arrested for possession of a stolen vehicle. Speaking of the DMV, something you should be careful with when buying a car on Marketplace is the price on the bill of sale. Sometimes people will say that they sold you the car for a lot less money so that you can avoid paying taxes on it. While this seems like a nice thing to do, the DMV is not going to let you buy a G80 M3 for just $200. Some people on Marketplace will say that they're giving you the car as a gift on the bill of sale, but then that gift becomes taxable income. So you might lose even more money. Anyway, when it comes to buying and selling cars on Marketplace, just be careful and do your research. The project car delusion is something that usually comes after spending way too much time on Facebook Marketplace. Once you get a solid car, a lot of people want something to work on for fun, but this is an extremely slippery slope. Marketplace has so many amazing project car options for a great price, but sometimes you need to take a step back and wonder why they're selling the car in the first place. I recently made a mistake like this. I found a 1975 BMW 2002 on Marketplace for just $1,500. If you know anything about 2002s, you know that this is an awesome price. I went to check it out and it looked nearly perfect. All of the interior parts were there was no rust on the shock mounts or on the subframe, and it looked like a really solid car. On top of all that, both of my daily drivers were in really good condition.
Maybe it's
so I
haunted.
had nothing to worry about. Anyway, I bought the car, I took the interior out, and holy shit, the entire floor had decomposed. There is no fucking floor in that car whatsoever. I was thinking, okay, that's fine. I'll just dial in my welding skills. I'll just get to work and fix it. Not even a day later, my other BMW's water pump failed. Not even 2 days later, my R53 Mini's fuel pump failed. It took me 4 days to have 3 broken cars under my name. Basically, I've learned my lesson. I'm only gonna own one unreliable car at a time, and I'm not gonna buy a project car until I have an actual solid daily. One of the best places to find awesome projects is at the auction. If you have ice in your veins and absolutely zero regard for your own financial well-being, go to the car auction. If you look past the reasons that some of these cars are at the auction, then there can actually be some decent deals. A brand new Hellcat starting at just $1,500? Awesome. A retired police cruiser with a bunch of holes in the windshield for just $200? Even better. These deals are impossible to pass up. They seem too good to be true, and they usually are. In high school, my friend got an E39 M5 at auction for $2,000. About a week later, I heard a school staff member on the intercom talking about,
whoever has the BMW that's leaking coolant in the parking lot needs to come to the office right now.
I think it's still collecting dust and leaking coolant in his yard to this day. That being said, he still got an M5 for just $2,000, so auction has its moments. A few good reasons that a car is at auction could be because a dealership took it as a trade-in and didn't want to sell it themselves. It could also be because of a lease return or just car rental companies getting rid of older cars. These are all great reasons. They could also just be there because they are total lost vehicles. These are where the awesome deals and horrible mistakes usually happen. You really can't know what you're getting into when you buy a car from an auction. Like, you will own and daily drive a car from an auction for like a year and then randomly find bullet casings in the door card or something.
Dude,
you just can't know. These cars have usually been run through, but it can be worth the risk. It might be less risky than importing a car. So it turns turns out your country just doesn't quite have the right car for you. So it's time to look into importing. A lot of car enthusiasts dream of importing a car. It would be so cool to have a car that's really rare in your country. It's really funny because people in the UK will freak out whenever they see a Hellcat or something, even though it just seems like regular traffic to me. But then I'll freak out if I see an E91 335D in the US or some other random European daily driver. The idea of importing is really cool, but holy moly, it's a pain. First, you need to actually find the car that you want to buy. The Toyota GR Yaris seems like a perfect choice. It's all-wheel drive, it makes around 300 horsepower, it looks super cool, and it's the perfect daily driver to import into the US. Oh wait, you can't. For some reason, Toyota decided not to certify it for the US market, mostly because the costs didn't make sense for the expected sales volume. Instead, we got a big old GR Corolla, which basically is the same thing but quite a bit heavier. Well, if you can't import a GR Yaris, what can you import? Whatever car you import has to meet the US safety standards, or at least be 25 years old. Meaning if you want to drive a GR Yaris, you're gonna have to export yourself to another country. Let's say you finally land on the perfect car that you can legally import into the US. It's a Suzuki Cappuccino. You set aside $7 grand to buy the car and get ready to press the import button. Unfortunately, it is not that straightforward. That $7,000 Cappuccino will quickly turn into a $12,000 Cappuccino. After emailing back and forth with a dude who only speaks Japanese and only replies at 3 a.m., you're gonna get smacked with some additional fees. But it's probably worth it, right? It's a really cool, tiny, turbo, rear-wheel drive car, and you need it. After you manage to order it, the dude tells you to send him 12 grand, and the car will probably arrive sometime between next Tuesday and the heat death of the universe. The car arrives a few months later, and it's super fun. Unfortunately, the roof leaks a little bit. No big deal, right? You'll just order some new seals online. Oh wait, you're gonna need to wait another 6 months to get them because they're only made now and then in one single factory in Japan. Importing cars is really cool, but it can also really be a pain in the ass. Maybe cars that can come to the US are actually better, or maybe the grass is just greener on the other side. Who knows?
Just move to Japan. If you really love that car that much, you would follow it to Japan. No?